concept. So I believe you're able to also pick the wealth of knowledge that he's able to bring to us this morning. And we can make our work better, better employees, better employers, better business people, because I think with AI prompting is cutting across. It's not just for employees, but for everyone in the industry. So karibuni sana. My name is Purity Wanjiru. I work for ACCUREX, and ACCUREX has been there for quite a bit now, about 10 years. We are a HR consulting firm. We do a lot of training, just like this one, and many others, especially around leadership, customer service, performance management, among others. So I'm keen to talk about more about our company at the tail end of our presentation today, because also we have HR technology, and I think AI is one big component. We are still trying to integrate the technology with AI. So maybe John also will give me a few tips on how to integrate AI with our HR tech. So that is it. Karibu sana, John. Well, I will take the setup of like two segments. The very first segment, the very first segment will be the presentation by John. Ideally, it will take about, say, 45, 50 minutes. And then we'll have a Q&A session at the very tail end. And then I'll still come back and talk more about ACCUREX and what you can do for your organization. So, John, karibu sana, without much further ado.
Thank you. I hope I'll be able to live up to expectations.
No. I am sure you will.
Okay. All right. It's a good morning to everyone. Happy to be sharing what I know about AI this morning. I'd just love to hear from everybody how you're using AI. Is there anybody who'd just like to walk me through what they've done with AI, anything they've been able to achieve with AI so far? Anyone? It's an open discussion. Feel free. If there's something that you've done that you think is truly special with AI, maybe something AI has helped you do, feel free to share. Anyone?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Anne. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Anne, and I use AI like every day. I use specific tools for specific jobs,
Mhm.
like ChatGPT for professional emails, reports, summaries, proposals, meeting notes. I also sometimes use Grammarly, Go,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
QuickBooks.
Yes.
Unajua, yeah, the Kikuyu in me, pole.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We understand. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So that one I use to polish my writing. Like sometimes I want to fix my grammar, or I want some clarity. I use it for grammar. And
Okay.
then sometimes I use Canva when
Uh-huh.
I want like I have event invites, or I want a presentation, or I want a poster. So I use Canva for that. And then we sometimes have the Zoom meetings, and I want to like have notes, not manually. So for that, I'll use Notion AI for taking meeting notes. So I can say I use like AI in my everyday events.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Purity, are you sure you have the right person to be leading this training? Anyway. All right. Very good. Thank you very much. Anybody else?
I think we are not.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else who's been using AI? It doesn't have to be spectacular, even something that AI has helped you do. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Anne, because Anne, I think what you just discussed is at the heart of what I'm going to.
Maybe John, I can help you just to chip in. I think
Okay.
for me, what AI has. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Go
I
ahead.
was saying, just to chip in, for me, AI has really helped. Has really helped me with research.
Yes.
Research in the sense that and a pattern. So I Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, yes. Arnold, go ahead. Arnold Achachi, please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning,
Morning, Arnold.
John. This is Wilfred. I'm using a pseudonym
Oh,
today, but not.
okay, go ahead.
That's okay. Oh, just to chip in, also add what Purity has said, though her voice was a bit
Mhm.
breaking. I use AI to help me write code because I realize that I'm not tech programmer per se,
Yes,
but AI has assisted me a lot in terms of code writing.
yes.
I do ERP support also.
Ah, okay,
So,
interesting.
so part of that, for the codes that I do not know, it has helped me a lot in terms of that. Yeah.
Oh, so
So
you're a
just
vibe
wanted
coder.
to. I am a newbie, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. AI has helped me a lot in terms of that, and what Puritan mentioned in terms of research.
Yes,
It narrows down on a lot of things that you want to do, but don't want to go into all those websites and things like that. So it
yes,
helps a lot. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes.
All right.
That's a whole new niche of programming called vibe coding. There are a lot of
Yes,
tools that are coming up these days. Sorry, we don't have time to go into them on this particular webinar. But there are a lot of tools that are coming up that are helping people who are non-coders, non-tech, to be able to code complete applications. Okay, and in my own case, those are things that I'm already doing to be able to extend some of the programming capabilities that I don't have as yet, and they're already giving me some very good results. It's very good to hear from you, Arnold, that you're already doing vibe coding, and that is really you're beginning to show the promise of AI. But for the rest of us who are still trying to figure out what this is or what the nature of this beast, this is what we are going to be discussing today. We're going to talk about one specific skill that is going to be able to help you to extend all your capabilities, to be able to help you to achieve all the things that you want to do in the workplace. And so that is why today we're talking about AI, but with the focus of prompt engineering. Now, if I was to ask a question, how many of us here on the call understand the concept of prompt engineering? How many? Arnold, would you like to give us a description? Just try.
all right. Maybe in a layman's way, what I would think in my own description would be prompt engineering will be now always like calling.
Hmm.
If I call your name, you'll be able to respond right. So it's
Yes,
like calling out on the AI, what do you want specifically,
yeah,
or the output that you want. So
yes,
the way you frame your question
yeah,
is directly proportional to the results you get. So if you frame it right, you get the
yes,
result right. If you frame it wrong, you get the result wrong. I like calling my own English. I like saying the tech word we used a long time ago. It's called garbage in, garbage out.
ego,
So
yeah,
again, it's coming in into AI.
yes,
And most of the time when we use it in terms of, and a lot, I know ChatGPT has been, the one that a lot of people are using.
yes,
So just asking or prompting,
yes,
um, in the way you prompt in
yes,
layman language, the way you prompt and the result you get. Yeah, in short,
yes.
that is.
I can tell a programmer when I hear words like response, right, prompt. Out of interest, Arnold, do you usually work with Python?
No, I'm learning Python
Or you're
currently.
learning Python? Okay, all right. Because there are some words you use that sounded like somebody who already is using Python for their programming assignments. So that is what we want to discuss today. And again, I want to make this as open, as interactive as possible. If you're struggling with AI, if you're struggling to understand what this is, please feel free, and I'll try as much as possible to accommodate your questions, your fears, your observations, your questions, whatever. Let's try and do our best to make this as enjoyable and as fun as we can for the next 1 hour or so. So we're talking about AI, okay? And there's something I saw on Facebook the other day. It says that many people who are over 40 are still using AI as the way they use Google. Okay, I don't know, maybe you've seen that sponsored ad. Many people still are struggling to understand what they can do with AI. Now, it's important for many of us who are still struggling to get to get up to speed with this, to think of AI in terms of it being like this really clever assistant that you have at the place of work, clever intern that you have at the place of work that can help you to be able to find things much faster, to be able to research better, and to be able to become more productive and more efficient in your line of work. And that helps you because when you have a really, really good assistant, then a lot of the routine tasks are taken care of. We probably remember the old office model where you had a boss with a really effective secretary who knows where all the contacts are, who knows the deadlines and so on. And these are things that AI can begin to help you achieve on your own. Many of us are running businesses where we are solopreneurs. And we are solopreneurs because in many cases, maybe the business has not grown to a sufficient point where we can now begin to now hire, to begin to get more people to come and work with us. Now, this is where AI can be able to assist your business. Many of us probably have side hustles, and we're still struggling to get those systems right. AI can come to your aid. And that enables you to be able to take care of the routine tasks, be able to, and then give you more time to think on the creative aspects, do more problem solving, and do more decision making because the underlying routine assignments, routine tasks, including customer service, are already being handled very effectively and very efficiently by AI. Now, irrespective of whichever AI you're going to use. And this one, I'm using it right now. If I was to use it in the example of our academic system, I'd say right now we are at standard one. This is standard one level stuff. For you to be able to use AI effectively, there is one fundamental skill that you need to cultivate, and that is the skill of prompt engineering. We've already talked about Arnold. Arnold has already given us a very, very good description of how he understands prompt engineering, and I'd say that is fairly accurate uh, because that is the skill that you're going to be able to need, whether you're using ChatGPT, whether you're using Notion AI, whether you're using Microsoft Copilot, or whether you're using even some of the other advanced AI tools. For example, if you want to create music with Suno AI, if you want to create pictures with Leonardo.ai, or if you want to create another pictures with Stable Diffusion or Midjourney or Manus.ai or Perplexity or whichever other tool that you're using, at the heart of it, it is important for you to learn how to prompt effectively so that you can be able to achieve whatever it is that you set to achieve. So the more you do that, the more you accomplish that, the more you become better at it, the more you become effective, and the more you're able to accomplish much more every day. Now, please remember that as I proceed here, I want you to be able to understand that we are not going to cover everything about AI today. I'm not going to be able to take you to PhD level in AI today. We would need like about a couple of months to be able to do that because the subject is very broad and very deep and very wide. Okay, so here, what I really hope to achieve is to be able to improve and to validate what you're already doing, to be able to improve your skills in what maybe you're doing, and to be able to give you the confidence to even now take it in whichever direction that you want to take. Some of us may probably use it in the corporate scene. Some of us may have hobbies. We probably love painting. We probably love content creation in music and videos. And all these are things that you can accomplish with the use of AI. And maybe in future sessions, especially if you're in marketing, if you're in training, and maybe you need to learn how to do videos using AI, how to create AI avatars that can be able to deliver content, learning content. Those are all directions that we can be able to take at a future date. Now, to guide our discussion, I'd love to start with this quote by this very famous scientist called Albert Einstein. And because this sets the tone, as it were, as to what directions AI will take us. And this is what he said that I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. And really think about it because this is where we need to be. This is the headspace into which we need to be. AI can handle all your routine tasks. It can set your reminders. It can do your customer service. If you doubt, we could probably arrange for another webinar to be able to show you how it can. You can create chatbots. You can create voice assistants. You can create AI agents that can handle specific tasks in your company. So already all those routine tasks can be handled with some form of AI or another. And see, what that does now for us as humans is now to begin to use our powers of imagination. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that in a lot of ways, AI augments or it extends our capabilities when it comes to what we can do. And hence now anything the only thing that limits us as people is our imagination. How far, how big can you dream? And very likely you'll find that with time, or maybe if not already, there is an AI tool that can help you to achieve that. So, what are our learning objectives for today? Sorry, to blend a bit. We want to understand the principles of of prompt engineering and how AI interprets human instructions. We want to be able to apply AI tools to real workplace needs like communication and reporting. We want to design effective prompts that save time, improve clarity, and support collaboration, and then build confidence such that we're able to integrate AI into our daily workflows ethically and responsibly. Now, here there is a mental barrier that I'd like to talk about, and that is something that is cultural. Uh, we still we still sometimes struggle, especially with AI. You'll often find that the public discourse around AI is that it is usually the tool of the lazy. That because you don't want to do all the work, you just throw everything into ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT, whatever ChatGPT regurgitates back to you, that is what you said. As we discuss the ethical use of AI, you will see how to go about that and handle that in a way that is effective and in a way that is ethically responsible. So we're going to talk about that briefly. Now, let's talk about prompt engineering. Let's now come to the meat and bones of what we're going to be discussing today. Now, what is a prompt? Now, a prompt is not a question. I'd like to think of it as a mini brief. Okay. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're giving it an instruction or a set of instructions to be able to accomplish a specific task. Many of us who are familiar with the design arts, art, the design subsector, things like art direction, creative direction, copywriting, website development. We know that in those particular lines, there's usually a lot of briefs. In fact, you do not start on work until you've been given a brief. Lawyers, the same. They usually have a brief for them to be able to handle a case. Okay. And sometimes you'll hear lawyers even in court saying that my instructions from my client are A, B, C, D. That's a brief. Okay. Because again, the law is wide. So you have to be able to narrow down to the specific areas of law that you want to apply your mind to and then be able to help your client. So similarly, when we are working with AI, we need to think of it in those terms that you are the human. AI is not just going to do everything by itself, but it has very, very great capabilities. So your role as the human is to be able to instruct it, to be able to tell it to accomplish specific tasks. Now, how do we do this in the best way? Now, there are basic sets of principles that we are going to go into depth to be able to see how this works. You'll need to provide things such as context, define the role, specify the output, and then set the constraints. Now, let's look at a few examples of that. Or let's look at how to do that. There's a framework that I'd love to share with you today, and I'm sure this framework, maybe you're already using it, or if you're not using it, it's a framework that could already begin to help you. It has got 5 parts: role, task, context, format, and tone. Now, I want to go through each of them in turn so that you see how these apply when it comes to prompt engineering. And maybe you can begin, if you're already using ChatGPT, you can already begin to think about some of the prompts that you've made that probably didn't give you the results you wanted, or you just felt that the answers was a bit substandard or subpar to what you wanted. And let's see if we can use this formula or this framework to be able to help you achieve what it is that you want to achieve. Now, as we say this, let me also point out that when it comes to prompting, there are so many approaches. In fact, on some other training that I've done, I think I was able to find 20 different approaches to prompting. I don't have time to go into all of them today because all of them require very deep, they need to be treated with a lot of depth for us to be able to understand how they work. But I thought that this is a nice general one to begin, to be able to begin when it comes to effective prompt engineering. So let's begin with the first one, role. Now, when we talk about role, what you want the AI to do, or the AI tool, for example, in this case, I'm going to use a lot of ChatGPT today. You want the tool to, the question that the tool wants or would want to know from you is, what do you want me to be? How do you want me to do this? You see, you shape the quality of the response by assigning a role. And what that does is that it helps the AI to adopt the right perspective and level of detail. What are some examples? You could begin your prompt by writing, act as a project manager, act as a communications officer, act as a customer representative, and do the following. Does that make sense? Okay. So give it a specific role. Okay. Assign it a specific focus. Okay. Now look at the example in the prompt that I've just shared in the slide. Act as a project manager and summarize this meeting transcript into a clear action plan. Now, do you think that that is a prompt that would be able to work? If you already have ChatGPT in front of you, why don't you try this for the next meeting or for the next task that you're doing? Maybe you're looking at some document, a report that has been provided. Maybe the report is very thick, it's very dense, and you don't have time to go through it page by page. Upload that into ChatGPT, and then ask, could you please summarize, acting as maybe human relations or human resources or operations manager or whatever it is that you are, summarize this into a clear action plan or into a work plan for our department. Now, what have you done by doing that? You have given ChatGPT the task or the focus to respond in only a way that maybe that particular person would respond. And remember, as we do this presentation, all right, as I do this presentation, feel free to try out some of these things that we're talking about. And at the end of the presentation, I'd be happy to hear if there's anything that you've noticed that is different that would be able to assist you. Now let's go to the next one. Task. You need to be specific. Do you want the AI tool to write, summarize, explain, analyze, or brainstorm? Okay, so for example, you could say, draft an internal memo, summarize this report, create a project report, a project checklist, come up with something. You need to give it a specific task. Here is an example in a prompt. Summarize this report.
Where can I put my laptop to charge?
Okay. Okay, Purity, I think you're on. We can hear you. Okay. Yes. Summarize this report into 3 key insights and 2 next steps. And then that way you're able to give it a specific task. Okay. Again, this is something that you could try as we continue on in this presentation. The third one is give the prompt context. What does this mean? You need to give the AI tool, in this case we're using ChatGPT, the why and who, so it understands your situation. You see, if you don't have context, it will give you a very bland and very generic response. So for example, for the HR department, or for a marketing presentation, or for employees working remotely, now here's a prompt. Act as a communications officer and write an announcement email for the HR department about our new wellness program. Now, what have you done in that prompt? And you can see our prompts are getting better as we do this. First of all, we've already given that prompt a role. Act as a communications officer. We've given it a task. Write an announcement email for an announcement email. The third thing, for the HR department about our new wellness program. We've answered the who and we've answered the what. Okay, and we've also understood why you need to write that announcement email. If you're to write that prompt that act as a communications officer and write an announcement email and leave it at that, it will give you a very bland question. In fact, it may even ask you to specify that particular uh, prompt that you've just written. For who do you want me to write this for? Then now you have to give it in subsequent prompts. However, if you want to do it well, it is important to remember those three things that we've discussed so far. Give it a role, give it a specific task, and give it a very specific context. Let's move on to number 4, format. Tell the AI tool or prompt the AI tool how to present the information. Do you want it as bullet points? Do you want it as a table? Do you want it as a paragraph? Do you want it as an outline? Okay, for example, in bullet points, in 3-slide summary as a short script. In many cases, for my line of work, I usually find that I get very good results when I do this well. For example, in some cases, if I'm preparing maybe for a training, I can simply say, write this in this format. Maybe give a short introduction of 100 words, or give me an article length of about 500 words. And the AI tool is able to do that. Okay? And that's when you begin to realize that for you to really do this effectively, you need to understand, you really need to have a good idea of what you want to achieve with each particular prompt. Then lastly, you need to give it the constraints. You need to specify the tone, you need to specify the word count, you need to specify the focus. And this keeps the output aligned with your audience and purpose. For example, professional but friendly, under 150 words, focus on benefits, not features. For example, in the prompt, write a 120-word announcement in a friendly and encouraging tone. So those five elements, those 5 elements when it comes to prompting will definitely be able to help you to improve the quality of your prompts. Now, I'd just like us to give ourselves about 2 minutes, and I'd love to hear from you in the audience. If there's anything that has been working for you when it comes to prompting on ChatGPT that maybe you'd like to share with the rest of the audience. I'm going to give you 2 to 3 minutes to be able to do that. Anybody who'd like to share anything as far as prompting is concerned? Okay, or something that you're finding to be able to work well for you that maybe you'd love to share? Feel free. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes to do that. Anyone? You can also send it on chat if you like. I'll be able to read them for the benefit of everyone else. Anyone? Okay, all right. Maybe as you think about some of the places that you could use this, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to share on the chat box on this in this meeting. I'll be happy to read all your comments at the end of my presentation. So, what are some of the places where we could leverage ChatGPT and other AI tools in the workplace? Well, I came up with about 5. Okay, Jerry, I can see you've written for me when I save my content. Let's see. Jerry has said, I use ChatGPT often. Canvas I tried, but I need to understand it. Okay, that's a good goal. Jerry, for me, when I save my content, I find results are more refined every other time. That's a very good point, Jerry, that you've made. And do you know why that happens? You know why that happens, Jerry? Is because AI is very good at patterns. It is able to pick up patterns quite quickly. Okay, so the reason why you're seeing your prompts are becoming better, it is because it is adapting to you. Okay. Somebody wanted to say something. I had as if somebody had unmuted. Anyone wanted to add something? Okay. As you think about maybe sharing more, I'll be happy to hear from you. Let's talk about how we can now leverage ChatGPT and other AI tools in the workplace. Now, I came up with about 5 ways in which we can do that. Real quick, if you think of any others, I'd be happy to hear from you also in chat. The first one that we use a lot is when it comes to email drafting. Okay. Okay. Evelyn, you're asking a very nice, good question. Uh, Evelyn is asking the question, how do you save the AI content without copy pasting? Evelyn, could you give me an example of what you're trying to achieve when this happened? Please feel free to even write on chat. I think I have an idea of what you're asking, but I'd love you to clarify the context. Is it, Evelyn? Is it that you prompted, you got an answer, and then you wanted to copy and use that answer without looking like as if it was coming from ChatGPT? Is that what you're asking? Okay. Now, Evelyn, I'll put it this way, although I'll come back to it when it comes to when I'm discussing about ethics and AI. At the end of the day, Evelyn, the basic principle to remember is that you're still the person in charge. You're still the human. Okay, you're still the one to make the final call. Now, you may realize that maybe you cannot improve on the answer that you've gotten from ChatGPT, and that answer is okay, it is going to work for you. There is no shame in being able to use it as it is. However, and this is where now judgment, human judgment, critical thinking is going to be very, very important. You need to remember, why do you need this piece of communication? Why do you need this piece of writing? To whom are you writing? You need to understand, think about the context, the task that you want to achieve, the objective that you want to achieve, and so on, and the constraints that you have. So it is important for you to be able to keep that in mind. However, if you want to take it a step forward, Evelyn, what you could do, we have a lot of tools now that are available that do what is called humanizing the AI content. In other words, they, yes, and I can see Oma Victor is asking the same question. To be able to humanize the AI content. I had somebody called, there's somebody, Anne Wang did mention about it earlier on. You could use a tool called Quillbot. Okay, I've just sent it on chat. And it can be able to help you to be able to humanize the content that you have produced in AI. It will also be able to help you write to different levels, maybe college level, high school level, grade 5, grade 8, and so on. So all those are things that you can do to be able to humanize the content. Yes, but what I'd encourage everybody to do, please remember that you're still the human. You're still the person who will make the final call. Okay, at the end of the day, don't get so intellectually lazy to the point that you just let AI do everything. Okay, and that is a real temptation, especially when you're dealing with a lot of work at the same time and you need things done. It's still important to check what it is that is being produced by the AI tool. Now, that said, AI tools are getting better and better with each passing day. I've been doing this since the time when we had ChatGPT 2. I remember using the, excuse me, I remember using the original ChatGPT before it went mainstream from version 2. Then I saw it become version 3, 3.5, 4, and 5. And I can say it's getting better with each passing time because the parameters are increasing, the foundational models are bigger. We're now moving away from what are called large language models to now reasoning models, models that are able to replicate human thinking and human reasoning rather than just reading from a text. And the combination of all these developments in the broader AI field are giving us much, much better results with each passing day. So, yes, the tools are getting better, but then at the end of the day, we still need to remember that we are the humans. We are the ones to decide how to use this and to what extent we should. Before, I hope Evelyn, my explanation has kind of helped you a bit. Have I, Evelyn? Please, Please let me know if that has helped you to understand what to do. So two things. Remember you're the human. The second thing, remember that you've got humanizing tools, tools that are able to humanize AI content. So remember that you can leverage on both approaches, your own skills plus those tools. Evelyn, does that help you? Okay, very good. Now there's something that I can see on the chat board, on the chat, sorry, in call messages. There's something that Bernard Wabuire has said that I think is very important, and I need to repeat this. He has said, I have made folders, employee letters, personal engagement, okay, for example, employee letters, personal engagement, client work in ChatGPT with their style of writing. It makes my work easy and I don't have to prompt again on the style. So basically, what you've created are templates. And that is very good, Bernard, because that is one of the things that we also learn when we're teaching prompt engineering, and that is how to create a library of prompts that have worked for you, saving them. And I think ChatGPT these days has the tools to help, and then now using them now to be able to respond to whatever questions may be coming from people, or in your case, to also be able to do your communication much faster. And this is what we're talking, Bernard. We're talking about automating your workflow. And I can already see that there are attempts to doing that. But this is something you can even take further with other tools that are available. We have tools like Zapier, we have tools like N8N, which can now take those letters that you have created in folders. And now all you just need to do is probably, for example, if it's an employee letter, you need to write, you can just write the name. You can write the brief description of what the letter is about, and it will just use your style to be able to create that letter and just bring it to you for signing. Save it as a draft for you to signing and then forwarding it to the employee. Personal engagement, the same client work. You can have a standardized business agreement, a standardized contract. You can have a standardized proposal document that you just fill the client's name and then give it a brief, and it will be able to create the rest of the document for you. Save it as a Word format, save it as a PDF format, and then even forward it as an email. It can do all that. It depends on what your workflow is, what your systems are like. And that is a presentation that I'd be very happy to have at another time to now extend the discussion further from not just AI, but also now how to integrate that AI into something called automation or workflow automation, something that will be very of quite of interest to many of us here in the room. Valin Handa, I prompt from different open sources, Copilot, GPT, or even Gemini, and that is good, just to compare the results. Valin, you're doing that very well, and that is good, and that is something we can learn from Valin. There are very many tools. We've got Copilot, GPT, we've got Perplexity, we've got Manus. Okay, we've now got for images, things like Nano Banana. We've got so many tools are coming out every day. So as we now get used to this, we even have something I think that came from China called DeepSeek that we can use. So there's so many things that we, so many tools that we can use. So it's time for us now to begin discovering these tools and be able now to slowly by slowly discover which one works for us. It's not just ChatGPT; it's one of them, but there are many, very many, many others. Okay. All right. Yes. Zapier, yes, I can see Anne is talking about that. Connect your apps like Gmail, Google Sheets, Notion. Yes. And so what you would need Anne to do is to now leverage on AI to be able to achieve a lot of these things. Okay. Zapier is very basic. It's a lot, it's a no code system per platform. You can use things that can extend your capabilities like N8N and many others. And now you'll be able to do so much more. The things that you can be able to achieve are just mind blowing if you think about it. So those are the ways we can leverage on ChatGPT in the workplace. Email drafting, for example, here's the prompt. Write a polite follow-up email after a meeting to confirm next steps. You can use it for brainstorming. Generate 5 campaign ideas for a company wellness week. Or meetings, summarize this transcript into key decisions, actions, and owners. That's a big one because we always want to ensure that our meetings are productive at the place of work. Writing assistance, rewrite this report in concise business English. We had Anne excusing her English because it has got influences from the mountain. But and many of us sometimes struggle with how to express ourselves effectively. So AI can help us to be able to polish our grammar, polish our language in a way that makes sense. I see Oma Victor laughing. Maybe he knows what I'm talking about, or maybe I reminded him of something. Yeah, but it's the case is many of us, because of our background. Oma, you'd like to share? Okay, as we proceed. Yeah, so many of us struggle with being able to express ourselves effectively in English, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. Our backgrounds are different. We come from different places, and if you find that because yeah, yeah, and if we find that we are struggling because of that, then we have a wonderful tool that we can use. And here's a heads up: AI has been created to use US English. Okay, but because in Kenya we use UK standard English as the model, okay, we do have Kenyan English, okay, and that's a whole other topic. But Kenyan English is based on the UK standard English. So it is quite possible for you to prompt the AI tool that for it to give you a response formatted in UK standard English or UK English. Okay, so it's just something for it's just a little tip for you to remember that for many of our real standards here in Kenya, a lot of them are borrowed from British standards. So, for example, how we spell words like color, COLOUR. In some places, that may be an issue. So please just keep that in the back of your mind so that you don't have US English when maybe the person you're writing to may require that you format it in UK English. So those are some of the ways in which you can leverage on ChatGPT in the workplace. Feel free to add yours if there is any other way in which you're using ChatGPT, maybe for content production, content creation. I'd be happy to hear from you, maybe as we continue on in this discussion. So, what are some habits that you can develop every day that will help you to be able to become an effective prompt writer? Okay, keep in the back of your mind that your first prompt is really the best. Okay, so you'll need to become better at this. You'll need to work hard to better at this. Learn to use specific roles in your prompting. Okay, act as a HR manager, act as an operations manager, act as a CEO, write a group email from HR. You need to create that role. Give examples. AI learns from patterns. Okay. Set boundaries. Keep it under 150 words. Focus only on the Africa region. Okay. I can see Mossy Planet. I use AI for advice on different things. Yes. So these are the prompting techniques that we need to develop. Okay. And I can assure you, if you learn how to be good at prompting, uh, whichever tool comes your way, whether it is not only just text, whether it is image generation, video generation, music generation. By the way, some of us love creating music. If you reach out to me at some other time, I can share with you some nice creation I've made for. There's this very popular folk song from Western. I think it's called Monawamberi. If you'd like to hear Monawamberi as a jazz as a jazz track, reach out to me. I'd be happy to share it with you. Those are some of the things that I now do as a hobby. It's something that I do on the part time. And you see, if you learn how to prompt, you can even now begin not only just to use AI for work, but you can also extend it into play if you enjoy some activities of that particular nature. Okay, and that's something that I'd love to share with you maybe at another time. So there's so much that you can do really once you learn how to prompt effectively. So let's now talk about the ethics. Okay, because yeah, we have a powerful tool here, but without a proper ethical framework on how to use AI, it can turn into a monster. and that is very common for anything that has been produced by humans. Beautiful tool, wonderful tool. For example, like nuclear technology is a wonderful tool. We use it in our homes with our microwaves, with our microwave ovens. But the same nuclear energy can be used to blow up countries. Okay, so we need an ethical framework to be able to use AI in a manner that is consistent with human ethics. So, what do we talk about? What are we talking about? So as you build your AI systems at the place of work, you will need to design and apply AI tools with fairness, transparency, and accountability in mind. At the end of the day, remember that you're designing AI tools to augment and to extend the capabilities of humans. Please don't build an AI tool with a view to replacing humans. Build it with a view to extending and augmenting the capability of your fellow humans. That's the first ethical consideration. The second one is ensure that whatever you're doing is on all fours with the law. That is, it is actually uh, adheres to the legal framework. Now, in Kenya, what does that look like? If you look at the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, there are a lot of provisions that have to do with the freedom of the individual, the right to privacy. So, and that has further been articulated by the Data Protection Act of 2019, which is regulated by the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. So it is important for you as you use AI, especially where you're going to use personal data, to ensure that number one, you redact personally identifiable information or what the law calls sensitive information. And you also redact information that you do not have and you also aggregate the information so that it is not personally identifiable. It's a very, very critical to do that. Because you see, AI learns the patterns, and it's very easy for you to find that that information has probably been spewed out in another prompt. So please handle this very carefully, okay, so that you do not become a fall foul of the law. So familiarize yourself with the provisions of the Constitution that have to do with privacy of the individual, the right to privacy. Also familiarize yourself with the provisions of the Data Protection Act of 2019, okay, laws of Kenya. And that one will be able to help you to be able to avoid breaking the law when it comes uh, to data protection, especially the data that is given to you and to your organization. That also includes intellectual property rights. You want to ensure that IP is protected. The institutional policies that you have in place are also adhered to. It could have consequences, and that is what we want to avoid. The other thing that you also need to remember when it comes to corporate responsibility, you have an ethical duty that AI enhances human contribution, and that you also create a culture of openness and dialogue about how AI is being used in the workplace, to ensure you have regular training sessions, because this is very new to many people. They're still trying to get their head around it. So please arrange for in-house training events where this information can be discussed, can be shared, so that you now create a culture of trust and awareness. And we'd be happy to facilitate, ACCUREX would be happy to facilitate this session. So just talk to Purity if this is something you'd like to do at a much deeper level in your places of work. That said, I think there's something I need to highlight here. If, say, for example, you're also using AI in hiring, and many organizations these days are using AI in interviewing in the whole recruitment process, please make that plain. Let everybody understand that this is part of the methods that you'll be used. But also remember that most people would feel happy if they feel that the final decision maker was a person who actually went through the information and made a decision on that. So please also remember to also take into account those sentiments, those feelings. Very few of us want to feel that our decision was made by a machine. Okay, so it's a whole discussion that needs to be had. Of course, sometimes when you send out job notices, you probably get hundreds of thousands of CVs. Sometimes you really just don't have the time to go through all of them. AI can help you to be able to filter that. But there's a way you can do it. There's a way you can go around it to be able to reduce the workload for you, but at the same time, ensure that you still present a human face when dealing with prospective job applicants. So, what are some future directions when it comes to AI ethics? Well, we're still going to focus on human-centered AI design. It's not going to replace humans. It's simply just going to extend and augment what humans are able to do. It will increasingly be built to support human decision making, empathy, and creativity. Okay, okay. We will have to adapt to individual. Adapt to individual learning or work styles rather than enforcing a one size fits all automation. And this is already happening. I've already been to conferences where I've seen what is possible. I've been to conferences where I can see situations where lawyers will probably be using AI tools to do the entire case pipeline from the time you get a client to the time when you present maybe the brief either at a court or present it, argue in court or other outcomes. Doctors already have tools that can help them to be able to do patient diagnosis and prognosis much faster. So all these tools are already in existence, okay, and it can only be the case that they'll become much more commonplace maybe in a few months, if not a year or two to come. Global ethical standards. So we are likely to see more and more international cooperation to establish shared ethical frameworks. Cross-border collaboration will help align safety. I know the government of Kenya has already started producing documents that will guide growth in the sector, in the subsector. There is already, I think, if not a strategic framework, I think there's a policy guideline that is already been issued that shows what the current thinking in the government is. So these are things that will become much more commonplace. We'll probably start seeing them in e-government when you go into maybe when you're using e-citizen. It's something you're likely to see that AI has already started being mainstreamed even to those government services. These things is just a question of time, but we're likely to see them. Okay. All right. And so this is the time to be able to understand what this is. You may find that before long, you may be in a position or you may need to be able to guide others on how to use these tools. Okay. We'll need to be more transparent and accountable as systems become more interpretable. As the legal jurisprudence also grows around this, we'll be able to understand why a model produces a certain result. We'll be able to handle more uh, situations. We'll be able to know how to proceed. Okay, and so on. And of course, what that will mean for us and all of us is that we'll have to continue learning. We may be the first generation or the first two or three generations that may need to embrace lifelong learning as a skill. Okay, prompting is going to help you do that because you can literally find any kind of information on AI tools now. And so that is a skill that we are all just going to have to exercise, to practice until it becomes a part of us. We'll need to do lifelong learning each and every day. You may probably be given new roles, a new task. You don't know exactly what to do about it, but you go to ChatGPT, you go to Perplexity, you go to Manus, you go to Gemini, and type in a prompt, and then it gives you the information you need to do. You can create your own curriculum, or you can pace yourself. You can create reminders on Google Calendar so that you are able to read every day, study every day. You can do so much, okay? But at the end of the day, we all have to continue on learning and applying new skills. So the question is, at the end of my presentation is, are you ready for this new frontier? Well, we really don't have much of a choice. It is something that we must all do. It's something that we must all embrace because this is where the future is pointing. This is the direction we are heading. And sooner or later, this is something that will become very commonplace to be in every aspect of our lives. And so it is important for all of us here in this room, in this training meeting, to begin to embrace this and start using it to become effective at our jobs, in our lives, and also at play. I thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to any observations, any comments, and any questions that you may have. Purity, over to you. Okay, so as we wait for Purity to come back online, are there any questions or anything? I think we have about 20 minutes or so. Are there any questions that anybody might have? Any burning issues that you feel you need to know and have an answer to? We'll see how many of them we can fit in. If not, that's something we can discuss maybe a little later. Okay. Okay, Shamim, I've seen your question. I've just shared my email. Kindly get back to me if you'd like to find out further information. I'd be happy to help wherever I can. Okay, Shamim, you seen my. Okay, very good. Yes, so are there any questions? Leo K, you've raised your hand. Please go ahead. Leo, I can hear you. Please, I can't hear you. Please unmute and then proceed with your question.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just asking a question and about what you say. You have to set the boundaries.
Yeah.
Example, you say that you focus on capital region. What do you mean?
Sorry, I can't hear you. I think it's a bit muffled. Please just do that again.
I'm asking.
Yes.
In your example, for instance, you say that you have to set the boundaries, right?
Yes.
In your example, you mentioned that you focus on Africa region. What do you mean by saying that? Is it that you
focus on? Sorry.
You said you focus on Africa region. In your example. So I'm asking, what do you mean by saying that? You said that you pace yourself according to the region you are, either because of English and language, either maybe because you said we are centered with the UK English.
Okay, now that one was just a tip. I was using it as a tip because of some of the jobs that we do. You may probably have a situation where you're collaborating with people who come from a US background. In that case, ChatGPT will work by default because it is developed, it is designed to work with US English. But let's say, for example, you're writing a report maybe for a UK university, and they're very, very conscious about some of these things. They're very particular about some of these things. They'll want you to use UK English format. So it is important for you sometimes as you're prompting to be able to just keep that in the back of your mind. That if you're writing for a British audience, okay, they don't want to see American spellings in the work that you're writing. It's possible for you to simply just switch and tell the chat GPT to format it and use UK English and spelling. Okay, I was using that as an example. You're doing a report, and you need to kind of make this report very specific, very detailed, provide the constraints that will be able to localize and contextualize that report. In that case, you could say, I want this report to only feature data from Nakuru County, as an example, or from the East African region, or from the African region. The idea behind that is that you want to be able to put an effective constraint that will be able to, as it were, concentrate the resources or concentrate the computing power of the chat GPT or any other tool that you're using so that it gives you something that is detailed to a specific area. Otherwise, it will give you a very generic, very broad description that may not really go to the heart of what you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
Leo, does that make sense?
Yes, it's making sense now.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Any other question?
Another question.
Okay, go ahead, Leo.
For me, I did civil engineering.
Civil engineering, yes.
Yes, I sometimes prompt something on ChatGPT.
Yes.
Requiring to maybe give you a detail of it in terms of diagrams.
Yes.
find sometimes it can produce the images and whatever.
Yes.
So, what could you maybe suggest we use as a civil engineers expert as far as the AI is concerned?
Okay. Okay. I don't have a civil engineering background, but I'm going to attempt and answer that question. Let's say, for example, you want to calculate the tensile strength of a bridge, as
Yes.
an example.
Yes.
Uh, and this is where we are saying, because these tools are still in their early stages. I mean, it's only been 2 or 3 years at the very most since we had ChatGPT. It is important for you as the human to still check and verify literally every fact, especially in some of these very critical places, mission critical areas where you need accuracy, you need dependability, and you need reliability.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of the day, and that's why I said you cannot abdicate your role to ChatGPT and expect that everything will be okay. ChatGPT from time to time hallucinates. Do you understand the meaning of the word hallucinate?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sometimes it sees things that are not there. Okay. Hallucinating, the idea of hallucinating comes from the idea of the effects of some drugs that people take, where they begin to see things that do not really exist.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, where we are in terms of generative AI development, we are still dealing with that issue of hallucination. Okay.
Right. Mm.
But now, for your diagrams, now coming to that to answer the question on diagrams, ChatGPT is still struggling in some ways. I know what the point you're talking about. I know that there are specialized tools that are trying now to be able to work, especially in some of those engineering processes, especially in civil and structural engineering. Uh, I do not have the details offhand. I do not have all but there are things I've come across maybe while reading about something else. So I vaguely remember. But it is possible for you to be able to maybe just do a search on some of these tools and then see to what effect they may be able to overcome
Okay.
the problem of hallucination. But I know the problem I know the problem you're specifically referring to.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. ChatGPT is still developing. There are some things that they may not be able to do very well right now.
Okay.
Because you see, Leo, if I
Yes.
was just to maybe give you a bit more detail,
Yes.
ChatGPT was built on a language model. Okay.
Yes.
Language models are not reasoning models. Okay. It's just that they mimic human reasoning because they are based on text.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes. Yes.
We are now moving to a situation where we need not only the language model, but we'll also need the reasoning model. So a lot of the generative AI tools that I've actually seen are beginning now to get into the reasoning bit. So they combine the language models, which has the content, has the information, has the material, but now with the ability to be able to use this material and reason on it to be able to give you a much better answer. Now that is what is has already been developed by some people, but maybe we may begin to see this a lot more mainstream, maybe from either this year or next year. So once that happens, it is very likely that some of these problems we are having with hallucination, problems that we are having with what you're saying, diagrams don't come out properly, will now probably become things of the past. We can only hope.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else with a question? Okay, I can see Arnold has Leo. If you look at the in-call messages, there's something that Arnold has shared with you that you can try this AI to help in civil engineering. It's called allsite.ai. Thank you very much for that, Arnold. It's very good that in this meeting we can share knowledge and do that. Oma Victor, the tech world is also trying very much to build AI models that really try to mimic the reasoning of various professional fields. Yeah, that's what I was sharing. I have loved the reasoning of the geospatial GPT-5 for geospatial engineers. So there you have another tool. So many tools are now we're now getting to a point of specialization. People have realized that ChatGPT is not the one and only, it's not the be all, it's not the all be all end all. There's still much that you can do I can see somebody has shared so many tools, and thank you very much. ChatGPT, Notion, yes. Microsoft Copilot, Grammarly Go, Perplexity, yeah. I didn't know there's something called Shit GPT. I didn't know that. I'm learning that now. Canvas Magic, yes. Leonardo.ai, that one I use. Wonderful tool. Pictory, Lumen 5, Firefly, Zapier. These are wonderful tools that we can use. And these tools work, okay? Uh, like right now, I'm working with a client who have been implementing some content generation system for them. And because of being able to effectively prompt, I've been able to create a plugin that enables them to update their blogs every 15 minutes with new content. Okay. And all that is just from getting what's available on AI. So if you've been struggling to update your company websites and so on, there's so much that you can develop, so much that you can do that can ensure that your content is up to date, your intranets are updated with content, with information that can help your staff to be able to become effective. All this is available, and all that is required is for us to be able to learn how to use it and use it effectively. Okay. Any more questions? I think we still have about 5 more minutes before we end the call. Thank you very much, Anne. I'm very grateful for your contributions. Uh, Anybody with a question or an observation?
John, I see Leo's hand is up. Eh?
Who?
Leo from the
Leo.
attendees.
Okay, Leo, your hand is
Yes.
still up? Leo? Okay. He had asked a question. I'm not sure whether he still has any more questions. Leo, if you can hear me, please just share the question you have.
No, I don't have any question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the last answer.
Okay. All right. Alan Kipruto, you have a question. You raised your hand. Please go ahead. Alan
Thank you so
Kipruto.
much. Mine is just an. Yes, you can hear me. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, go ahead, Alan.
Yes, mine is just an observation. I was
Yes.
just. I think I had an alternative answer to Evelyn's question about the idea of copying and pasting.
Go ahead.
I think what she was asking was about how do I save the file. I think it's just more of adding to the prompt that let's say if it's a ChatGPT to download the version, the prompt, the results in the format you need it. For example, if it's a Word document, you need it in a Word document format. You need it in an Excel. At that point, it will just generate the file for you, and when you download it,
Yeah.
it will have the contents in it.
Yes. That's also
I
possible.
think that's the part of it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much, Alan. Okay, all right. So Evelyn, there you have it. That's another view, something that you could also do. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah. So we live in very exciting times with AI. Once we understand what this can do, once we understand what this is capable of, once we understand how to prompt effectively, we understand how to use this tool effectively, you'll be surprised by just how productive you can be, how innovative, how imaginative, creative your teams can be. And many of us are probably working with the so-called Gen Z groups in our organizations. They understand this technology natively. They don't really struggle. And if you were to let them loose, set them loose on this, you'd be surprised by the things they can do, the products they can do. There's so much. We're just beginning to scratch the surface of what AI can do for us. Of course, let's not say that you'll do everything. It's not a panacea for all of our problems, but there are many places where AI will definitely be able to become of aid in the world in which we live in. So it's been a pleasure having a chat with all of you, sharing what I know about this. Let's keep the conversation going on AI, and be happy to have another discussion on specific areas of AI that you feel are much more important in your organization, things that you feel you need to be able to get some skill on, be happy to collaborate with you to be able to get that done. Purity, over to you.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you so much, John. That was very, very insightful. I think quite knowledgeable, quite a few tricks here and there. I've had very many AIs that I've not used even before. I kept seeing these like meme on Instagram that people above 40 years are using ChatGPT as if it's the only AI. So I'm assuming I fall under that category. Like we only use ChatGPT either because either navigation is easy or our work is also pretty structured, especially if you've been in the workplace for quite some time. I feel like with time your work becomes very structured. But I believe that was very insightful. Thank you so 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 much. That was I believe in even from our team in here they've picked a lesson or two and they're bound to make AI better. No, to make their work much better, much easy to implement. So thank you so much. That was very impactful for sure. So that is it from us this morning. I believe if there are any questions, we are happy to take a few just before we drop off. As I said when we were beginning, my name is ACCUREX, and we work for this wonderful company called ACCUREX, which is a HR consulting firm. Now we are about to wind down the year. I believe now we've done over 30 webinars since we started in January. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? And when I look back, I'm wondering, how did we come here? In January, I believe we started small. We were like, what wameboeka in January? Let's see how it goes. But I feel we picked the momentum at some point, and this is where we are. It's already October. I'm excited for the end of the year and also the new ideas that the new year 2026 will bring to us. So feel free to leave us your thoughts. What topics would you want? If I was to be asked, AI will not be among the topics I'll have proposed, but look, here we are. So I believe also it goes a lot into saying that we are able to listen to our audience, give you relevant workplace topics that make you grow. I'm imagining if you've attended since webinar one up to today, what kind of growth you must have experienced in 2025. So thank you so much for your patronage. The year is coming to an end, so I know you're planning team building for your teams and year parties for your teams. We are the team to talk to bring fun into your workspaces. John has talked about AI as a training. That is also something we're able to do for you, and many more other trainings. So, and I promise you, I'm planning for a get together for our webinar participants. It's equally behind the screen only. So I believe if you are around Nairobi, we have something coming up for you guys. Just to come meet with you, have a bit of fun, get to know where you work, what are some of the needs that you have in your organization, and all of that. So that is what is in the works. So I'll be sharing details in the next coming week. So feel free to look out for the details on our socials, on our website. It's very informative, I believe. So until next time, thank you so, so, so much. And see you again next week. We have another interesting topic. So make sure you come and see what we are offering you, and then we can push it to the end of the year. So thank you and have a very wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.
Purity, just one thing, Purity.
Yes, please.
If they would like to hear Wanamberi that I recreated using AI as a jazz track,
Okay.
they can stay behind.
All right. We're staying behind to hear that for sure. All right. But thank you so much, John. That was really interesting. Thank you so much for your wealth of experience and how also you bring it home. So thank you so much.
Very good.
All right. All right. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Can you hear it?
Not yet. I can't hear it.
And
Try
now,
to share your screen with the audio.
okay, that's all right.
Hi, John. We are still not able to hear you.
Okay, I think I'll share the link maybe. I think there's a
All
problem with
right, no issue. All right. Thank you so much, John.
welcome.
Bye bye, guys.
Yeah.